In a world where the loudest person in the room garners much attention and the spoken word often takes centre stage, there exists a profound and yet often overlooked art, the art of influencing others without uttering a single word. William Walker Atkinson was an author, an occultist and a pioneer of the New Thought movement. He read extensively on non-verbal influence and unravelled the secrets that transcends the limitations of language. The conventional view of communication places language at the forefront, yet Atkinson's teaching challenges this notion. He contends that communication extends far beyond the spoken word into the realm of non-verbal cues that dance with the subtleties of our expressions. History contains many mysterious cases of one mind influencing another. In Practical Mental Influence, Atkinson shows the metaphysical explanations for these accounts. Physics also collaborate the findings and go far towards furnishing facts and principles based on his theories. Atkinson explains the idea of thought transference with accepted scientific facts. Everything in the material world is in vibration. Without vibration, there would be no such thing as the material universe. This applies to seen and felt phenomena, as well as those that cannot be seen or felt. Physics shows that there are great fields of energy and force, the vibrations of which are far too high for any instruments to record. Nevertheless, they exist and they manifest effects. Thought waves. Now, there can be no doubt that our physical force creates movement within the ether. This movement transcends through the ether, whether it's perceived or not. Physics has shown that our brain temperature increases according to the intensity of our feelings and our thoughts. This is due to the high intense vibrations that are generated when feelings and thoughts are manifested in the mind. And given that this energy has to go somewhere, it is projected outwards in a vibrationary wave. Unconscious or undirected thoughts hold lower vibrations. They have little power and are easily faded away when neutralized by stronger ones. But conscious, directed thoughts command your attention and maintain their energy as they travel great distances and influence others with the power proportional to their projected force. Thoughts and feelings are contagious by reason of the law of vibration and mental induction. When this law is understood, you become able to protect and improve yourself. Induction in physics refers to the ability of one object to reproduce its energy in another without direct contact between the two. The same principle applies to thoughts, which is why we can be influenced by others regardless of who they are or where they are. But remember, only the strong thoughts survive. If two currents of mental thought energy meet, one being a thought of love and the other hate, they will neutralize each other if they are equal. Or if one is stronger than the other, it will persist, but robbed of much of its strength. So despite the tendency of nature to protect us, we need to shield ourselves from negative influences. Your predominant mental attitude serves to attract more of the same and repel opposing ones. Therefore, watch carefully the character and the nature of your thoughts. Mental concentration and imaging. So the two main factors of manifesting mental influence is concentration and imaging. The degree to which you can concentrate is the degree that you can manifest mental powers and achieve greatness. Yet most of us live lives with scattered minds running wild, so practicing concentration requires us to focus the mind and hold it focused for a fixed time. Similarly, we must shut off and focus on something else when it is time to rest. Involuntary daydreaming occurs when we are absorbed in tasks we naturally enjoy and should be avoided because they do nothing to strengthen our will. You must master your imagination and make it your servant. Not knowing exactly what you want means that you can't take steps to get it, but a clear image acts as a framework, much like an architect's blueprint or an explorer's map. We must train our minds to see and feel exactly what we want to achieve, as though it already exists. So most importantly, to avoid becoming a dreamer of dreams and a doer of nothing, this must be followed up with action. Einstein wrote, "Nothing happens until something moves. That something has to be you." Fascination and hypnosis. So the two general forms of direct mental influence is fascination and hypnosis. Now they both use the same power, so sometimes they can be difficult to tell apart. Fascination is the oldest form of mental influence. It is even seen in animals stalking prey or attracting mates. Even though it often occurs without the conscious knowledge of the principles employed, like natural charisma, this can be acquired by study and strengthened by practice. Step 1 is to form a thought of what you want the other person to do. This should be charged with a force of concentrated will. Step 2 is to silently project this thought to the other person. The unspoken words simply give the thought energy, which means the principle still works with people who don't speak the same language. Hypnosis is based on the belief of the universally persuasive magnetic fluid that works when the subject was asleep. It has now been shown that this fluid is thought energy the hypnotist transfers to the subject. It has also been shown that the subject does not need to be asleep. A sufficiently lowered resistance and a state of suggestible passivity will do. Using fascination and hypnosis to influence others in person is easier, since added effects like eye contact and tone of voice can be used. But influencing others at a distance is possible too. The difference between present influence and distant influence is merely a matter of degree, a question of a little more or less space to be transferred by the thought currents. The best way to do this is by sitting in a quiet place and imagining the person you want to influence seated in front of you. As you send out thought waves giving verbal commands to this imaginary person, this establishes a psychic condition and may even be felt as a faint shock. As you practice and master this art, you can quickly reach a state of mental calm and create an image of the person that you wish to influence in the state that they desire. Therefore, a picture of a person in perfect health, happy and successful, will materialize the same conditions in the person in real life. Magic and self-protection. Our mental influence is built on one principle. Therefore, good and evil will arise from the same source. It all comes down to individual intentions. On the one hand, we see and hear of the mighty power of good mental influence exerting amongst the people today, raising up sick, strengthening the weak, putting courage into the despondent, and making successes from failures. But on the other hand, the hateful, selfish, and greed of unprincipled people in taking advantage of this mighty force of nature and using it to their own ends without heeding the dictates of consciousness and the teachings of morality. A good thought will always have the power to neutralize an evil one, and the person whose mind is filled with love and faith may combat the multitude whose minds are filled with hate and evil. We can protect ourselves by creating a burning desire for the opposite of what we fear. He who thinks hate may be affected by hate thoughts, while he whose mind is filled with faith and love is surrounded by a resistant armor which repels the invading waves and causes them to be deflected, or else driven back to their senders. Understanding that thought waves only affect minds that think similar thoughts will prevent the spread of mental microbes. Manifesting the full extent of your true inner power requires us to understand who we really are, beyond the temporary physical bodies we inhabit, and the transcendent thoughts that fill our minds resides the flame of spirit. This consciousness comes to you because of your interconnectedness with the cosmos. This inner will is real power, and when you recognize that you can draw upon its unfailing, unwavering strength, it is a part of you that will never die. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like. It really helps push these videos out to a much wider audience. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and join our growing community of like-minded people. Thank you again so much for all of your support. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye for now.